Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Ready Set Grow Show. It's Friday, and you know what it means, Homeschooling Friday. So, for those of you who don't know me, I am Hillary, the marketing mom. I am a business coach, founder, social media strategist, and I am here helping moms bring themselves home from the workplace to home. And what I decided to do, because I started homeschooling this year, is I decided to start sharing some of my journeys. And when I say this year, like I literally just started it. Okay. So there are a lot of other resources here, but I'm not here to share resources so much, but to share the journey and to share the challenges that you may be going through and a little bit of the solutions that I'm finding along the way. Okay. So as I said, I'm Hillary, the marketing mom. Oh, good. We locked the door this time. So today, what I want to share with you is basically what I did this week, which is getting organized. Right now, the everybody has a different choice when it comes to homeschooling. Okay, so I am being very open and honest. You can choose whether you're going to pull resources from the internet and put something together, or you could be like me and buy into a program, buy into a curriculum of people who have been doing homeschooling for since the 1980s. All right. Get their resources and get access to all of their coaching, their training, their resources, everything. And basically that's what we did. Okay. So um and because we are faith-based, okay, we are using our faith, one that's tied to our faith. So it works very well, and it's actually, very coherent with our faith in terms of what we want for our children, how we want them to grow up in the world, etc. So that is pretty much, our how we went about it. Now, locally, a lot of people focus on the curriculum. Okay, it's like, okay, you want to make sure they follow in Trinidad and Tobago curriculum. Children are going to learn, all right? They're going to learn. And what I've realized is if you're doing real homeschooling, you're not teaching at home. It's totally different. Homeschooling is not teaching at home. That's kind of what I've discovered in all of my preparation and planning for this week. And the reality is, when if we sit down and think about it, if we spend any time with our children, we should be teaching them, and we do teach them. All right, we do teach them. So this week, what were we making in the kitchen? I can't remember. Oh, cookies, right? So we were making cookies, and my 4-year-old wanted to help, so she came and she helped, and we took out the measuring cup. So we were doing things in the measuring cup, and she had to find the number one and find the half, and and she didn't understand what a half was. So I took a banana and I cut it in half with the knife. And then she was like, oh, that's how we teach. Right? So homeschooling, as you would discover with your children, is it's not so much about the textbook that you have, or what the curriculum is, but it's about teaching them principles and different things. So again, for those joining, yes, I'm sharing my homeschooling journey on Friday. So this may be a little different to what you're used to in terms of like business strategy and social media and all of that stuff, because you know me as a social media woman, right? Anyway, so getting organized. And for me as an engineer, I need structure. Now, your children also need structure because that's what they would have normally gotten in school. The best place for you to do that when you're at home is to create a little calendar, right? So I took down there a little. This is what we've been using for the summer, but it's not going to be what they use for homeschool. But basically, it's just a little, a schedule, and it's their schedule. And the fun thing about it is, so it goes throughout the day. There are different activities that they do, and it because it's home. You're gonna have things like clean your room, right? Because when you wake up in the morning, you're going to clean your room, you're going to have breakfast, then we have reading time, then we have outside play, then you have snack, right? And then you have things like well, and then you have your meals. So because it's a home one, all right, so this is going to change a little because it's homeschool. This is summertime, right? So outside play, snack, you see all of those things, right? But you're trying to get them involved in what goes on in the home, all right? There's going to be chores time. Like every day they had some kind of chore to do, whether it was folding clothes, clean up the puzzles after every activity, right? So have a schedule. And the fun thing about having a schedule is it's always good if you involve them in creating it. So they created this one, all right? They created their schedule and we put it together. And it's easier for them to follow the schedule if they create the schedule. Sounds familiar, right? Like us adults, right? We don't like being told what to do, but if we come up with our own plan, we execute it, right? Because it's ours. It's the same thing with your kids. If they come up with their plan, they're going to execute it. All right. Star charts, reward charts. Okay. Great things to motivate children. But guess what? Let them do it. Let them create it. Okay. Because then they're more motivated to actually, you know, do stuff for the star. If you say, okay, we're going to have a star chart for these things, no, right? It's not going to work. So getting organized, understanding what you're going to do on each day is also key. So this week, I, and the other thing too with getting organized, if you can and if you need, all right, because especially for those who are new to homeschooling, maybe you're feeling a little daunted. You're homeschooling more than one kid. If you could get help, get help, even if it's just a babysitter to come and watch the younger ones, or get somebody to help. All right. So being completely and 100% transparent, I'm not doing this on my own. I'm getting help. Right. So yesterday we went through all of the different things and figuring out on what day they're going to be doing what and laying out the calendar. It's not done yet, but you have to spend, I would say, at least a week. All right, going through the quote unquote the curriculum, because at the end of the day, especially if your kids are at the primary or secondary school level, they've got tasks that they've got to complete. All right. And even with the little ones, they've got milestones that they have to reach in terms of when are they going to be able to do the pencil grip properly and all of these type of things. Okay. So getting organized is important in terms of you have to have their calendar, their daily calendar, what you're going to accomplish for each segment. So for us, the program that we follow, they do quarters, not semesters or terms. So we know what we have to accomplish at the end of each quarter. There are 4 quarters in the year. Yes, we're using a US based system. And the other thing is that you get them involved in the planning of their schedule. So get them involved, let them see the materials that they're going to be using, and get them involved in organizing the space. So that's the next section where, yes, you have to organize the day, the quarter, or the period that you're going to be working with. So just know what are your big goals at the end of it. All right. You don't have to know little nitty gritty. For us, we actually have, thankfully, and this is where buying into a program helps and it works for you, is that if you buy into a program, they actually do a lot of the bulk work in terms of week 1, day 1, do this, day 2, do this, day 3, do this, day 4, do this, right? So I've done that. It's as parents out there, you have the choice to do or not do. All right. So yeah, so we did daily schedule, what your goals are for the end of the period, whether it's a term, a quarter, a semester, however you call it. And then you also need to organize space, right? So knowing the children, when you're homeschooling, it's not children all of the same age, unless you've got twins, right? So you're gonna have the bigger ones, the younger ones, the smaller ones. You've got to organize the space so that everybody is comfortable, but at the same time, it meets everybody's needs. Okay, so your bigger ones, they're gonna need a desk, chair to be able to sit with their feet flat on the ground, chair, table up by their waist. You know, these are little things that as parents we never think about because we're not in the school, but you know, they have to have furniture that's their size. Okay. Now, yes, a dining table may work or may not. Once the chair's at a place where they're able to sit properly and be able to do the activities. So one of the things that we realized this week is I've got to adjust some furniture, because when I sat my kids on the table, and we just did it, you know, because I wanted them to eat somewhere different, but I was really testing to see if the furniture would work. The little one, her face was like right here by the table. That's not going to work if we want to do art or some sort of activity with Play-Doh or whatever the case may be. So understand, yes, in your home, you probably going to have a lot of things, but you're going to need to make some adjustments when it comes to the homeschooling stuff. Okay. So organizing your space, less is better. Okay. And this is something that I've been reading about and hearing. Less is better when you're organizing your space. So yes, you want your kids to have all sorts of different activities for them to be able to manipulate and do all sorts of things. That may seem like a logical thing, but the less things you have in the space it's going to be easier for you and for them to clean up. Imagine if you tell your kid, okay, go and clean up the room, and they see all of these things, puzzles, blocks, but all sorts of things all over. No, keep it simple, keep it to the core things that they're going to need. For the little ones, blocks, Play-Doh, puzzles, manipulative things. Keep that simple. And if you've got more than one kid like myself, put them in three in separate containers. So the kids know, okay, this is mine, that's mine, that's mine, right? And we keep it good. Shelves as well, whiteboard, definitely. This is my whiteboard for my business, but definitely a whiteboard, they can do different things on it. And then you could use it for the older ones in terms of teaching principles, even though they're going to be reading more. All right. And then the last thing is reading. So one of the things that I realized in all of the material that I was going through for preparation is that reading is of high emphasis when it comes to homeschooling. You've got to read. Kids got to read. You've got to read. And you've got to read to them. They've got to read to you, depending on the age of your children. Okay. Very important that you do all of that on a daily basis. So Saturday and Sunday, they still got to read. Okay. It's not, oh, it's the weekend. No, homeschooling almost is like this continuous thing. And then you could also be reviewing what's up for the next week over the weekend and start introducing it to them in very simple ways at home. All right. So homeschooling, my journey so far this week was organizing. So I hope you got value from this. For those of you who are, yes, I am mom, bringing moms home. I've got a new Facebook group. Inside, it's a private Facebook group. You got to answer a couple of questions before you get in there, where I'm going to be starting to deliver some very specific training for those of you that are actually seeing this video in the group. Fridays is homeschooling day. All right. So if you're a mom and you're coming home, right, you're probably going to end up doing some of this as well. All right. So this is why I'm putting this inside of the group. Okay. So have a great day. Have a great weekend, everybody. And I'll see you on Monday. Bye-bye.